Hey everyone, welcome! This is the first video in a series where we'll explore astrology from the basics to more advanced topics. Whether you're brand new or just looking to deepen your understanding, this series is designed to make astrology simple, practical, and easy to follow. We'll cover the basics of reading a birth chart using tropical astrology. We'll break down the key components of a birth chart, the 12 houses, the planets, zodiac signs, aspects, and degrees. By the end, you'll have a solid foundation to start reading any birth chart with more confidence. And don't worry if it all sounds new. We'll take it step by step and keep things simple. A birth chart, also known as a natal chart, is a map of where the planets were in the sky at the exact moment you were born. Think of it as a cosmic snapshot of your first breath. Astrologers use it to explore your personality, life themes, and potential. For the most accurate chart, it's best to know your exact time of birth, down to the minutes if possible. This helps pinpoint things like your rising sign and planetary degrees. But even if you only know your birth date and place, you can still get meaningful insights. Now let's start with one of its most important parts, the 12 houses. The 12 houses form the structure and foundation of your birth chart. Each house represents a different area of life, like personality, relationships, career, and more. It's where the planets and signs in your chart show up and express themselves. For example, the first house relates to your self-image and how you present yourself to the world. The 7th house focuses on partnerships and close relationships. And the 10th house highlights your career path and public reputation. By understanding which signs and planets are placed in each house, we can see where your energy is most active and how it's being expressed. Before we dive deeper, I want to introduce an important idea in astrology, polarity. Everything in astrology has both masculine and feminine principles, or you could say external and internal expressions. That includes the planets, signs, and yes, even the houses. Let me show you what I mean. The first house, also known as the ascendant or rising sign house, marks the very beginning of your birth chart. It's the starting point of the entire astrological wheel, and it sets the tone for how the rest of the houses play out in your life. On the outside, the first house represents your self-image, how you project your personality, your physical appearance, and the first impressions you give to others. It's how the world sees you at first glance. On the inside, it speaks to your sense of identity and self-awareness. This includes your instinctive reactions, your vitality, and your general attitude toward life. Planets placed in the first house tend to strongly influence your personal style, energy, and how you assert yourself in new situations. The first house answers some of the most personal and foundational questions in astrology, such as: who am I? How do I express myself to the world? How do others see me at first impression? What is my natural way of approaching life? What kind of energy or vitality do I carry? How do I assert myself or react to new situations? And what does my outer style or physical appearance say about me? If the first house is about who we are, the second house is about what we have, not just in terms of physical possessions, but also our inner sense of value. That's why it's often called the house of value. On the outside, the second house relates to material resources, like money, possessions, physical comfort, and even our emotional attachment to the things we own. It shows how we earn, spend, and relate to the material world. On the inside, it reflects our self-worth, personal value, emotional security, and our overall sense of stability and well-being. It speaks to the talents and strengths we use to create value in the world and attract abundance, not just financially, but emotionally as well. The second house answers questions such as: what do I value? How do I earn and manage money? What do I need to feel secure? Do I feel worthy of love, success, and abundance? What possessions or comforts matter the most to me? And what talents or skills help me create or attract value? The third house, known as the house of communication, governs how we speak, think, learn, and engage with the world around us, especially our immediate environment. On the outside, it relates to how we express ourselves, the way we speak and write, our body language, tone of voice, and even how we learn and teach. It also covers day-to-day interactions, especially with siblings, cousins, neighbors, and peers. On the inside, it reflects our inner dialogue, how we think, process information, and form mental patterns. It shows how we gather knowledge, interpret experiences, and mentally organize our world. The third house answers questions such as: how do I communicate and express myself? How do I process information and make sense of the world? What's my learning style? What kind of mental habits do I have? What's my relationship with siblings or peers? How do I interact with my local environment? And do I tend to speak before thinking or think before speaking? The fourth house, often called the house of the home, represents our family roots, emotional foundation, and our deep sense of inner security. It's closely connected to our early childhood experiences and the environment that shaped us at the most fundamental level. On the outside, the fourth house relates to the homes we live in, both past and present, and the emotional atmosphere within those spaces. It also speaks to our family dynamics, ancestral lineage, cultural background, and personal traditions. On the inside, it reflects our emotional development, including the parenting styles we experienced and how they continue to influence us today. It also reveals how to process emotions, what makes us feel safe, and how we protect our inner world through emotional boundaries. The fourth house answers questions such as: what kind of home did I grow up in? How do I experience emotional security? What kind of home environment do I need as an adult? How do I nurture others and how do I need to be nurtured? What patterns for my family or ancestors do I carry? And how do I protect my inner world? The fifth house, known as the house of pleasure, is all about creativity, joy, romance, and self-expression. It shows how we seek happiness, express our unique talents, and enjoy being seen or celebrated. On the outside, it relates to artistic expression, fun, leisure, hobbies, games, and celebrations. It also rules children and how we relate to them. This house governs dating, flirting, and the way we naturally radiate romantic energy. On the inside, it reflects our sense of originality, what lights us up inside, and how we relate to our need for love, praise, and admiration. It also reveals our connection to the inner child, that playful, creative part of us that still wants to explore, imagine, and shine. The fifth house answers questions such as: what brings me joy and makes me feel alive? How do I express my creativity? How do I approach romance and attraction? What's my relationship with fun and play? How do I connect with children or my inner child? Do I motivate myself and others easily? And how do I share my light with others? The sixth house, known as the house of health and service, governs the essential rhythms of daily life, our routines, responsibilities, habits, and how we care for ourselves and others. It's the house of practical care, healing, and maintenance, revealing how we support both our physical health and well-being of those around us. On the outside, it relates to our work life, time management, organization, and physical health. It covers everything from daily tasks to nutrition, exercise, hygiene, and even caring for pets. This house also speaks to how we serve others through caregiving, support roles, or using our skills in behind-the-scenes ways. On the inside, the seventh house reflects our relationship with well-being, our approach to healing and self-care, and how we manage stress or pressure. It highlights our attention to detail and how we respond to flaws, both in ourselves and in the world. It also reveals how we feel about helping others and how we receive support in return. The sixth house answers questions such as: what's my relationship with daily routines and responsibilities? How do I approach work or being of service? What kind of structure do I need to feel balanced? How do I take care of my physical health and well-being? What are my habits, helpful or harmful? How do I handle stress, pressure, or the demands of everyday life? And am I overly critical toward myself or others? So far, we've explored the first 6 houses of the birth chart. These houses have their focus on the inner world, our identity, values, communication, home life, creativity, and day-to-day routines. In many ways, they describe how we build a solid foundation, who we are, what we need, and how we take care of ourselves. But now, as we move into the 7th house and beyond, the focus shifts outwards. The second half of the chart explores how we relate to others and to the wider world, through relationships, shared resources, life purpose, and collective meaning. It's where personal growth starts to meet social and spiritual evolution. So let's dive in. The 7th house, known as the house of partnerships, marks a major turning point in the birth chart. It sits directly opposite to the first house of the self. While the first house is all about me, the 7th house shifts the focus to we, highlighting how we connect with others in one-on-one relationships. On the outside, the 7th house relates to committed partnerships of all kinds, romantic, business, or legal. It rules serious long-term relationships like marriage and formal contracts. And, unlike the playful and romantic energy of the 5th house, the 7th house is about commitment, negotiation, and mutual accountability. On the inside, the 7th house acts as a mirror of the self, revealing what we project onto others, what we are attracted to, and what we seek in relationships. It can show the kind of partners we're drawn to, the qualities we admire or reject, and the dynamics we repeat in partnerships. The 7th house answers questions such as, what do I seek in a partner? What kind of people am I naturally drawn to? How do I show up in close, committed relationships? What patterns do I repeat in love or partnership? What do others reflect back to me about myself? Am I balanced in how I give and receive love? How do I navigate conflict or compromise in one-on-one dynamics? And how do I handle agreements, promises, and commitments? The 8th house is known as the house of death and rebirth. It represents deep emotional change, shared resources, karma, and intimacy. This house is about the cycles of endings and beginnings, and how we heal, release, and evolve through them. If the 2nd house was about what I have, the 8th house is about what we share. This axis explores personal value versus shared value, independence versus merging, and holding on versus surrendering. On the outside, the 8th house relates to the parts of life we share or exchange with others, like money, property, and emotional energy. It governs joint finances, debts, taxes, investments, inheritance, and resources gained through partnerships. It's also linked to taboos, the occult, mysticism, deep psychological work, and our fascination with the unknown. On the inside, the 8th house reflects our emotional evolution. It shows how we move through fear, loss, trauma, personal crisis, and how we emerge changed. It also reveals our capacity for emotional intimacy, our response to power dynamics, and whether we're able to truly be vulnerable, seen, and transformed in deep connection with others. The 8th house answers questions such as, how do I handle intimacy, trust, and vulnerability? What's my relationship to power and control? How do I deal with loss, endings, or transformation? How do I relate to shared money, debt, or inheritance? Am I afraid to let go or be fully seen? And what helps me transform and grow from crisis or change? The 9th house, known as the house of expansion, is all about broadening our horizons. While the 3rd house focuses on local environments, everyday learning, and practical thinking, the 9th house zooms out. It explores big picture thinking, global perspectives, and higher truths, acting as the macro to the 3rd house's micro. This house shapes our worldview. It governs belief systems, philosophy, spiritual growth, and our drive to understand the world and our place within it. It reflects a deep internal urge to seek meaning and expand both intellectually and spiritually. On the outside, the ninth house relates to higher education, academic and philosophical study, and self-directed learning. It also rules faith, religion, ethics, and moral beliefs, as well as long-distance travel, cultural exchange, publishing, and broadcasting. On the inside, this house reveals how we grow through exploration, both mental and spiritual. It represents our beliefs about life, truth, and purpose, as well as our inner compass, what we believe is right, meaningful, or worth pursuing. It speaks to our thirst for understanding, wisdom, and personal evolution. The ninth house answers questions such as, what do I believe about life, truth, and purpose? How do I search for meaning or spiritual growth? Am I drawn to study, teach, write, or publish ideas? How do I expand my mind through travel, learning, or philosophy? What role does faith or morality play in my life? Do I enjoy connecting with other cultures and belief systems? And what kinds of wisdom am I here to explore or share? The 10th house, also known as the house of career and reputation, sits at the very top of the birth chart. It often includes the midheaven, or MC, which marks a key point in understanding our public life, career direction, and the roles we play in the eyes of the world. This house lies directly opposite the 4th house of home and emotional roots. Together, they form one of the chart's most important axes: private life versus public life, or inner security versus outer success. The 10th house reveals how we step into responsibility, seek recognition, and pursue meaningful achievement in the larger world. On the outside, it relates to our career path, life goals, ambition, and the way we're perceived publicly. It speaks to our reputation, social standing, and the kind of legacy we want to build. It also reflects how we relate to authority. On the inside, it shows how we define success, what drives our ambition, and how aligned we feel with our professional identity. It also reveals our personal relationship with leadership, responsibility, and purpose, and whether our outer path matches our inner truth. The 10th house answers questions such as, what am I known for? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What kind of career or public path suits me? How do I approach responsibility, structure, and goals? What motivates my ambition? What role do I play in society, and is it aligned with who I am inside? And what do I want to achieve or contribute in this lifetime? The 11th house, known as the house of community and friendship, is where personal purpose meets collective impact. While its opposite, the 5th house, is about personal joy, self-expression, and creativity, the 11th house zooms out. It explores how we connect with the world around us, through friendships, causes, ideals, and shared visions of the future. On the outside, this house governs friendships, peer groups, social networks, and the communities we align with. It includes activism, humanitarian work, group affiliations, and the people who share our hopes and dreams. This is also the house of supporters, allies, mentors, and collaborators, the tribe that helps us move our bigger visions forward. The 11th house also connects to innovation, technology, and the digital world, including social media and online communities. It encourages thinking outside the box when it comes to social systems, structures, and collective progress. On the inside, this house reflects our long-term aspirations, our visions for the future, and our desire to make a meaningful contribution to the world. It speaks to how we experience belonging, whether we thrive in groups or prefer to stand apart, and how we navigate the balance between individuality and community. The 11th house answers questions such as, what kinds of people do I connect with or attract into my life? How do I build and maintain friendships or community? What causes or movements do I care about? Do I feel like I belong, or do I prefer to stand apart? What role do I play in groups or social dynamics? How do I support others, and how do I let others support me? What are my long-term hopes, dreams, and ideals for the future? And how do I contribute to something bigger than myself? The 12th house is one of the most mysterious and often misunderstood parts of the birth chart. It's where we hold the things we can't always see, but that shape our lives in profound ways. Known as the house of the subconscious, the 12th house sits at the very end of the zodiac. It's the house of endings, but also transcendence, the quiet space between one chapter and the next. While the 6th house deals with routines and physical wellness, the 12th house rules the unseen, dreams, intuition, hidden fears, and the emotional patterns running quietly in the background. On the outside, this house is linked to seclusion, isolation, and places that remove us from daily life. It governs sleep, the dream world, the imagination, and altered states of consciousness. It's also associated with spirituality, psychic sensitivity, caregiving, acts of quiet service, and healing through creative means, such as creative arts therapy. On the inside, the 12th house reveals our blind spots, the hidden wounds, suppressed emotions, and unconscious behaviors that may limit or sabotage us. But it also offers profound gifts: intuition, empathy, spiritual sensitivity, and the ability to surrender what no longer serves us. This is also the house of karmic patterns, past life energy, and the quiet wisdom that comes from letting go. The 12th house answers questions such as: what are my subconscious habits, patterns, or fears? Where do I need rest, retreat, or solitude? How do I relate to my inner world, dreams, or imagination? What helps me heal or surrender what I can't control? Am I avoiding or hiding parts of myself? How do I experience empathy, intuition, or spiritual connection? And where am I called to let go? What can I gain through doing so? And that's it. We've officially covered all 12 houses. Each house represents a different area of life, from identity and relationships to career, community, and the inner world. Together they map out where things happen in your chart. Next, we'll explore the Zodiac Signs, which reveal how each house expresses itself, depending on unique details of your chart. This is where everything starts to come together. There are 12 zodiac signs in astrology, each traditionally linked to one of the 12 houses. In order they are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. But just because Aries naturally rules the first house in the zodiac, doesn't mean Aries rules the first house in your chart. Your unique birth time and location determine which sign rules which house in your chart. Any other 12 signs, or even more than one, can rule any house. That's what makes every natal chart so personal and distinct. In your chart, the zodiac signs describe how different areas of your life tend to express themselves. The sign on the cusp of each house, the starting edge, reveals the energy or style you naturally bring to the life area. For example, if Cancer rules your 4th house, you might be nurturing and protective when it comes to home and family. If Leo rules your 7th house, the house of relationships, you might love big romantic gestures and being admired by your partner. Basically, the signs add flavor, tone, and personality to each life area in your chart. To interpret a house, you first look at the sign on the cusp, the starting degree. That sign rules the house and gives the clearest insight into how that area functions. But the other signs that fall within the house matter too. They're called co-rulers and they add more depth to the story. This kind of overlap only occurs in systems like Placidus, where houses can span more than one sign because the divisions are based on time and angles. In contrast, the whole sign system assigns one full zodiac sign to each house, so there are no co-rulers. Both systems have their strengths, but for the sake of consistency, we'll primarily use Placidus, especially since we'll be examining parts of my birth chart later in the video as practical example. All of this can feel like a lot at first, so let's simplify. Instead of memorizing all 12 signs as a list, it helps to group them by element: fire, earth, air, and water. The fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Fire energy is bold, passionate, and energetic, making these signs the powerhouses of the zodiac. They bring light, warmth, and intensity wherever they go. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Grounded and practical, they are the dependable builders of the zodiac. Earth signs bring structure, stability, and a deep connection to the physical world. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. These are the thinkers, communicators, and visionaries of the zodiac. They bring clarity, curiosity, and fresh perspectives to every situation. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Intuitive, emotional, and deeply sensitive, water signs are the empaths of the zodiac. They bring depth, healing, and emotional intelligence to every connection. Each element also contains a cardinal, fixed, and mutable sign, but we'll come back to that at the end of this section. For now, let's start with the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, the sign that literally represents beginnings. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, symbolizing new beginnings, fresh starts, and bold first steps. Its energy is dynamic, courageous, and pioneering. Aries is defined by independence, ambition, self-motivation, and bold leadership. Fearless and assertive, it thrives on spontaneity, honesty, and raw enthusiasm. Direct and driven, Aries is a spark that ignites the fire, always ready to lead, never afraid to charge ahead. But like every sign, Aries has its challenges. On the shadow side, Aries can struggle with patience and follow-through. It's fast-moving and instinctual, sometimes impulsive, quick to anger, overly competitive, or perceived as self-centered. Aries wants to act now and ask questions later, which can lead to burnout or missed details. Sometimes this energy just needs to pause and breathe before jumping in. For example, the second house governs money, values, and personal resources. If Aries rules this house in your chart, you'll likely take bold, immediate action when it comes to earning. You might thrive in independent work, entrepreneurship, or fast-paced projects that allow for autonomy and challenge. You value freedom and initiative, and you're not afraid to take financial risks. However, you may also need to watch out for impulsive spending or tying your sense of self-worth to how much you're achieving or producing. Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac, representing stability, security, and the pleasures of the material world. This is a grounded energy, deeply connected to nature, the body, and the physical senses. Taurus is all about patience, reliability, loyalty, determination, practicality, sensuality, consistency, resourcefulness, strong values, and self-worth. It's the builder of the zodiac, steady, dependable, and devoted to creating a life filled with comfort, beauty, and lasting value. On the shadow side, it can struggle with stubbornness, resistance to change, and a tendency to cling to comfort, possessions, or routine. Sometimes, this energy becomes overly cautious or possessive. Taurus teaches us to ground ourselves, but also reminds us not to get stuck or overly attached. For example, the fourth house rules home, family, and emotional roots. If Taurus is on the cusp of your fourth house, you likely crave a home environment that feels peaceful, stable, and beautiful. You are emotionally nourished by comfort, familiarity, and sensory pleasures. Think cozy spaces, home-cooked meals, gardening, soft textures, or meaningful traditions. You may be the rock of your family, calm, nurturing, and protective. But you could also struggle with resistance to change within the family dynamic, or become overly attached to the past. Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac, representing communication, curiosity, and the power of the mind. This is a lively mental energy, quick thinking, expressive, and always eager to explore new ideas, experiences, and perspectives. Gemini energy is marked by curiosity, intellect, adaptability, communication, learning, mental agility, humor, sociability, versatility, open-mindedness, and playfulness. As a messenger of the zodiac, Gemini thrives on variety, conversation, and intellectual stimulation. On the shadow side, it can struggle with restlessness, inconsistency, or mental overstimulation, sometimes coming across as scattered, superficial, or non-committal. This is a sign that loves to see all angles, but benefits from grounding, focus, and a bit of stillness now and then. For example, the 10th house rules career, reputation, and public image. If Gemini rules this house in your chart, you're likely seen as communicative, quick-witted, and mentally agile in your professional life. You may thrive in careers involving writing, teaching, media, sales, technology, public speaking, or any field that values flexibility and communication. You are natural at multitasking, and your reputation might shift or evolve over time as you explore different interests. People likely see you as clever, witty, or adaptable, and you might find success through networking, ideas, and staying open to new professional paths, possibly juggling more than one at a time. Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, representing emotions, nurturing, and the importance of home and family. This is a deeply intuitive, protective energy, emotionally sensitive and often tuned into what's unsaid more than what's spoken. Cancer is marked by empathy, emotional depth, nurturing, intuition, compassion, loyalty, sensitivity, protectiveness, creativity, and a strong family orientation. As the caretaker of the zodiac, Cancer creates safe emotional spaces and offers comfort, support, and fierce devotion to the people it loves. But on the shadow side, Cancer can struggle with moodiness, clinginess, and a tendency to retreat into its shell. When feeling unsafe or unappreciated, it may come across as overly sensitive, defensive, or possessive. This sign teaches us how to care deeply, but also how to self-soothe, set emotional boundaries, and let go when necessary. For example, the 11th house rules friendships, community, and long-term hopes and dreams. If Cancer rules this house in your chart, you're likely someone who forms deep emotional bonds within your social life. You may treat close friends like family and feel most secure when surrounded by people you trust on an emotional level. You're probably the nurturer in your friend group, checking in regularly, remembering birthdays, and offering heartfelt support. Your dreams for the future may center around creating safe, emotionally connected communities or working with causes related to caregiving, healing, or home. Leo is the fifth sign of the zodiac, representing creativity, confidence, and self-expression. This is a warm, bold, magnetic energy, the inner light that not only wants to shine and be seen, but also uplift others to the same radiant glow. Leo energy is marked by charisma, confidence, leadership, creativity, loyalty, generosity, passion, courage, recognition, and motivation. As the performer and leader of the zodiac, Leo is known for its big heart, commanding presence, and natural ability to inspire. Wherever it goes, this energy brings joy, playfulness, and a sense of celebration. On the shadow side, Leo can struggle with ego sensitivity, pride, and a strong need for validation. When feeling unseen or unappreciated, Leo may come across as attention-seeking, dramatic, or controlling. At its best, Leo energy shines when it's anchored in purpose, not just applause. For example, the 6th house rules work, routines, and health. If Leo rules this house in your chart, you likely bring creativity, pride, and passion to everyday tasks and acts of service. You may infuse your routines with flair, dedication, and the desire to be recognized for your efforts. Leadership roles might come naturally, or you may thrive in careers that involve self-expression or public visibility, such as teaching, design, fitness, or media. You're likely to feel your best when your daily habits support both vitality and self-confidence, whether that's through regular movement, nourishing food, or simply taking time to look and feel your best each day. Virgo is the 6th sign of the zodiac, representing service, refinement, and the pursuit of order and understanding. This is an intellectual, detail-focused energy, driven by a desire to improve, organize, and bring clarity to chaos. Virgo is marked by analytical thinking, attention to detail, practicality, efficiency, reliability, problem-solving, organization, humility, dedication, ethics, kindness, and care. As a healer and helper of the zodiac, Virgo brings structure, discernment, and compassionate support to everything it touches. It has a gift for making the complex feel simple and the overwhelming feel manageable. On the shadow side, Virgo can wrestle with perfectionism, overthinking, and a tendency to be overly critical. When things feel out of order, Virgo may come across as judgmental, rigid, or controlling. Its challenge is to uphold high standards with grace and self-compassion, recognizing that growth is often messy and perfection isn't the goal, progress is. For example, the third house rules communication, learning, and everyday mental activity. If Virgo rules this house in your chart, you likely approach information with precision, logic, and a strong eye for detail. You're naturally curious, but you're drawn to practical, useful information over abstract or theoretical ideas. Your communication style is clear, structured, and efficient, and you may often take on roles like editor, organizer, or instructor. Your mind thrives on analyzing, refining, and breaking down complex concepts into manageable parts. You might excel in writing, research, teaching, or any work requiring sharp analysis and mental clarity. Libra is the seventh sign of the zodiac, representing balance, partnership, and the pursuit of harmony in all areas of life. This energy is graceful, diplomatic, and naturally drawn to what is fair, beautiful, and just. Libra is marked by charm, diplomacy, aesthetic sensitivity, fairness, cooperation, social awareness, romanticism, peacekeeping, refinement, justice, equilibrium, and connection. Known as a mediator of the zodiac, Libra has a unique gift for seeing all sides of a situation and finding common ground. Relationship-focused, Libra values connection and mutual understanding, bringing serenity and elegance wherever it goes. On the shadow side, Libra can struggle with indecisiveness, people-pleasing, and a tendency to avoid conflict at all costs. At times, this energy may come across as superficial, non-confrontational, or overly concerned with appearances and approval. A key growth lesson for Libra is learning to assert its own needs without sacrificing harmony. For example, the 12th house governs the subconscious, solitude, and hidden realms. If Libra rules your 12th house, your inner world is deeply influenced by themes of balance, peace, and harmony. You may carry a strong subconscious need for connection and fairness, even if it's not always obvious to others. You might retreat from conflict or difficult emotions by seeking peace in solitude or through spiritual practices. This placement often indicates a hidden talent for mediation or healing through quiet service. Part of your inner growth involves learning to assert your own needs privately and working through any secret tendencies towards people-pleasing. Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac, representing transformation, intensity, and emotional depth. This energy is powerful, mysterious, and deeply intuitive, constantly diving beneath the surface to uncover hidden truths. Scorpio is marked by passion, determination, emotional intensity, resilience, loyalty, protection, resourcefulness, magnetism, insightfulness, intuition, privacy, and power. Known as the alchemist of the zodiac, Scorpio has a unique ability to regenerate and transform through emotional challenges. This energy carries a magnetic presence and fierce loyalty, often forming deep bonds. On the shadow side, Scorpio can struggle with jealousy, control issues, and secretiveness. Its intensity can sometimes turn into obsession, resentment, or manipulation, especially when feeling vulnerable or betrayed. A key part of Scorpio's journey is learning to embrace openness without fear of betrayal. For example, the 5th house governs creativity, romance, and self-expression. If Scorpio rules your 5th house, your approach to love and creativity is deeply intense and passionate. You don't do casual or superficial romance, instead you crave profound emotional connection and loyalty. Your creative projects often involve transformation or uncovering hidden layers, whether through art, writing, or performance. You express yourself powerfully, sometimes with an aura of mystery or magnetism. You might also have a strong competitive streak in hobbies or sports, and aren't afraid to dive deep into what truly excites you. Sagittarius is a 9th sign of the zodiac, representing freedom, adventure, and the quest for knowledge and truth. This energy is optimistic, bold, and always eager to explore new horizons, whether through travel, philosophy, or expanding the mind. Sagittarius is marked by optimism, curiosity, enthusiasm, honesty, independence, adventureness, open-mindedness, idealism, philosophical thinking, generosity, and expansion. Known as the explorer of the zodiac, Sagittarius is driven by a desire to experience life fully and understand the bigger picture. On the shadow side, Sagittarius can struggle with restlessness, impatience, and a tendency to be blunt or tactless. Sometimes this thirst for freedom may come across as irresponsibility or a reluctance to commit. Cultivating patience and presence in the moment is key to healing the restlessness that arises from Sagittarius' boundless desire for freedom. For example, the 8th house governs transformation, shared resources, and intimacy. If Sagittarius rules your 8th house, you approach deep change and emotional connection with curiosity and optimism. You are drawn to exploring life's mysteries through philosophy, spirituality, or psychology, seeing emotional growth as part of a larger journey. Your adventurous spirit helps you face transformation fearlessly, though you may sometimes struggle with commitment or staying present during intense emotional moments. Balancing your need for freedom with vulnerability is essential. You inspire others to see transformation as an exciting path towards greater understanding and freedom. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac, representing ambition, discipline, and the pursuit of long-term goals. This energy is practical, responsible, and driven to build solid foundations for success and stability. Capricorn is marked by determination, patience, self-control, pragmatism, tradition, responsibility, ambition, persistence, loyalty, structure, and reliability. Known as the architect of the zodiac, Capricorn steadily climbs toward its goals with hard work and dedication. This energy values tradition and respects authority, often serving as a reliable backbone in any group or project. On the shadow side, Capricorn can struggle with rigidity, workaholism, and a tendency towards pessimism or being overly serious. At times, this energy may come across as cold, distant, or overly focused on status and control. Healing Capricorn's shadow involves cultivating flexibility and self-compassion alongside their natural discipline. For example, the 9th house governs the quest for knowledge, truth, and meaning. If Capricorn rules your 9th house, you bring a practical and disciplined approach to your beliefs and learning. You take your worldview seriously and prefer structured, well-organized study over abstract or speculative ideas. Whether it's higher education, philosophy, or spiritual growth, you approach these areas with a sense of responsibility and long-term planning. You may value tradition and establish systems in your ethical beliefs and have a cautious, purposeful approach to travel and cultural exploration, often focused on gaining tangible benefits or career-related experience. Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac, representing innovation, individuality, and a vision for a better future. This energy is forward-thinking, unconventional, and deeply committed to progress and humanitarian causes. Aquarius is marked by originality, intellect, independence, change, inventiveness, humanitarianism, open-mindedness, progressiveness, friendliness, detachment, and visionary thinking. Known as the innovator of the zodiac, Aquarius challenges the status quo and brings fresh ideas to the table. This energy values freedom, equality, and connection through shared ideals, often inspiring change on a collective or global scale. On the shadow side, Aquarius can struggle with detachment, stubbornness, and a tendency to be aloof or emotionally distant. Sometimes this energy may seem rebellious simply for rebellion's sake, or unpredictable and unwilling to conform, even when conformity is necessary. Healing these tendencies involves cultivating emotional openness and vulnerability. For example, the 1st house governs self and identity. If Aquarius rules your 1st house, you come across as unique, independent, and a bit unconventional. You have a strong need to express your individuality and don't mind standing out from the crowd. Your approach to life is forward-thinking and open-minded, often surprising others with original ideas and a progressive outlook. You may be drawn to causes or communities that promote equality and innovation. People see you as friendly, but sometimes a little detached or unpredictable. Your challenge is to balance your desire for freedom and rebellion with building close, meaningful relationships and staying grounded in your personal identity. Pisces is the 12th and final sign of the zodiac, representing intuition, compassion, and the dissolving of boundaries. Pisces' energy is dreamy, empathic, and deeply connected to the unseen realms, spiritual, emotional, and imaginative. This energy is marked by empathy, creativity, spirituality, sensitivity, imagination, compassion, intuition, mysticism, emotional depth, adaptability, and romanticism. Known as the dreamer and mystic of the zodiac, Pisces often absorbs the energy around them and reflects it through art, healing, or emotional insight. Pisces offers a rich inner world and a powerful ability to connect with others on a soul-deep level. On the shadow side, Pisces can struggle with escapism, emotional overwhelm, and a lack of boundaries. At times, this energy may seem overly idealistic, detached from reality, or prone to self-sacrifice and avoidance. To heal these challenges, Pisces benefits from grounding practices that help anchor their sensitive nature in reality. For example, the 7th house governs partnerships and relationships. If Pisces rules your 7th house, you approach connections with deep empathy, compassion, and a strong intuitive sense. You often seek soulful, spiritual bonds that transcend the ordinary, and may be drawn to partners who inspire your imagination or bring a sense of magic to your life. Gentle and giving in relationships, you sometimes put your partner's needs before your own. Boundaries can be blurry, so learning to balance your kindness with self-protection is important. You might also attract sensitive or artistic partners, and your relationships often carry a dreamy, romantic quality. Now, to summarize what we've explored, let's look at another way the signs are grouped, by modality. Each zodiac sign is either cardinal, fixed, or mutable. These qualities describe how each sign interacts with energy, either they initiate, stabilize, or adapt to change. The 4 cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These signs mark the start of each season. Aries initiates spring, Cancer ushers in summer, Libra begins fall, and Capricorn starts winter. Cardinal energy is bold, directive, and future-focused. These signs are the pioneers and trendsetters of the zodiac, driven to lead, initiate, and spark new cycles. Their strength lies in their ability to take charge and create momentum. The 4 fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Fixed signs fall in the middle of each season. Taurus holds the heart of spring, Leo of summer, Scorpio of fall, and Aquarius of winter. Fixed energy is steady, reliable, and resolute. These signs are the builders, protectors, and sustainers, known for their persistence, loyalty, and ability to maintain stability. While they bring structure and depth, they can sometimes resist change. The 4 mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. These signs close out each season. Gemini wraps up spring, Virgo concludes summer, Sagittarius ends fall, and Pisces finishes winter. Mutable energy is flexible, versatile, and adaptive. These signs are the editors, teachers, and finishers, able to shift, reflect, and prepare for what's next. They help us transition smoothly from one phase to another with insight and adaptability. Each of the 12 zodiac signs brings its own energy, gifts, and challenges. Together, the full wheel of the zodiac acts as a cosmic map, reflecting the many layers of who we are and guiding how we grow. That's it for this video. In the next one, we'll explore the planets, the aspects, the degrees, and walk through a practical example of reading a birth chart. If you found this presentation helpful, please comment, like, and subscribe. Your support really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you soon!